So over the last several years, actually, I've had a lot of inquiries starting to come in to the team with regards to coastal living and some of the considerations. And with the world changing and people having the opportunity to, either be in a home full time at the shore, things are changing, and people want to know, well, what would be the great benefit of me living down there? However, what would be some of the considerations I need to be aware of? So I'm Chris Ferzoco. I'm with the Ferzoco Group Real Estate team here at the shore, and we're going to talk about some of those benefits and considerations here of coastal living down at the Jersey Shore.
So the ocean is, takes up like 2/3 of the world, right? So there's a lot of places that have coast.
Yeah.
The ocean is beautiful, but let us not forget the ocean is also incredibly powerful, right?
No
And
question.
so, but let's start with the benefits of coastal living. How does that improve my life?
Wow. How it improves your life is really how you take advantage of what's available to you. And, I find that it's a special person that does really love to live on the coast. They love the water, and there's a connection. There's a connection to the earth and all of that in nature when you are living on the coast. I think you have a greater appreciation, for the environment, for the creatures that live in the ocean that we don't see on, necessarily. And so there becomes this little bit of a heightened awareness, I believe, that when you live on the coast, that, for the betterment of the planet, if you will, there's just something about it. So what I feel is that when you have one of the benefits of coastal living is that the people that own and live there tend to take a little bit better care of the area, of the beaches, and of the towns themselves, because they understand that if they're not taking care of it, it won't take care of you. And so again, I feel that there's a big connection, to the earth, to the environment when you live on the coast, and specifically when you are in the water, and that the wildlife is around you in the water. It's amazing. It's amazing to see, and so it's amazing to be around when it's happening. You mentioned though it can be very powerful. And it can be very dangerous. And that's something that you have to be aware of at all times. And it could be the most beautiful day out there, but if you aren't familiar with rip currents and you're not familiar with how things work when it comes to the ocean, you can really get yourself in a lot of danger with that. So you need to understand how the tides work. How many times that we see it, and people don't understand the tides, and they're out in their boats, and the next thing you know, they're cruising along and they slam into a sandbar because they don't understand that the times that the tide is dropping, they're not paying attention. They don't know the routes that they should be taking when they're out there. So there's a lot of those things that you need to be careful. You need to be aware of when you have like that kind of coastal living. Especially for us here down at the shore, here where we are, unfortunately, and we get these nor'easters that come up the coastline, they pound the living heck out of our beaches, and there's massive and major beach erosion year after year after year, and they replenish it and it looks beautiful, but let's remember that sand has to go somewhere and it gets pulled somewhere. So those passages, those pathways change dynamically almost every single year. So you have to be aware of that. And be cautious of that.
For someone who's not from this area, the nor'easters, what does that imply? Is it just a lot of wind? Is it a lot of waves? What happens?
Well, yeah, it's both of those. You have a tremendous amount of wind. You have a lot of rains. It can be, you could have it where there's a lot of sleet. There's a lot of nasty snow. There's a combination of. So it's just one of those nasty wintry storms that just comes, it comes up the coastline, and it just makes the ocean very angry, and those waves just pound and erode the beach just at a constant pace. And so you'll see that some of the beaches, all of a sudden there'll be a 5-foot cliff, the sand is gone, Well, that's a lot of sand that's gone somewhere. So, so that can be tough. And naturally, I mean, when you live, if you live very close to the water there, if you have those types of storms or anything like that, that's wear and tear on the house. I mean, on the property. So you have to understand that going into it, there might be some added budgeting, if you will, for your property year over year, because there's just certain things, elements that you're going to have to deal with when you have a property on the coast. That's just going to happen from not just storms, but just on a natural basis. The wind is constantly moving that salt air against your property. It's pounding on the glass. It's pounding on the roof, on the siding, and what have you. So it really can wear and tear on items a lot faster than it would normally if you're not on the coast.
What are some preparations that I can take to prepare my house for kind of normal wear and tear, but also to prepare maybe myself and my family for a possible larger storm, possibly a hurricane or something like that?
Well, if you're working back in that question, I mean, if you really think about, like, with regards to hurricanes, you want to make sure, one, that you have someone that you can rely on in the area if you're not here, that can help you with buttoning down the house. Who do you have that can, if we know that there's going to be a massive hurricane coming through, that can help you with getting the plywood on the windows or closing your storm shutters if your home is equipped with those. So there's, you want to make sure that either you can get here or you have someone who's going to be here that can handle it for you, to make sure that you're closing that glass, and you're protecting that. You're putting down the sandbags. You're sealing all the entryways to keep that water and sand from intruding for those major storms. On a general basis, really, it's just a matter of, you really want to make sure that when you're leaving, and I always say when you're leaving, because you could be a long time before you're back, and a long time meaning just a week. I mean, there's weather throughout the course of the week, but making sure that your umbrella is down. That thing gets caught, it comes up out of the table. Now that thing's soaring through the air, you could damage someone else's property. You could even, hurt or kill someone. So, it's just paying attention to those little things, making sure that the grill is not near the edge of the deck, the umbrella's down, the deck chairs are folded up, put away. I know everyone wants to come down and make sure, hey, it looks beautiful when I show up, but if you're on an elevated deck space, you may want to make sure things are a bit more secure. Or again, know somebody here that will run over and there's a key available to them that they can take care of it for you. And for us here at the Ferzoco Group, we provide that for our clients. And I don't mean just the ones that we're currently actively working with. It's through time, that if they needed something for us, then, they know that they can contact us and we'll run over and we'll take care of it immediately.
Can you share an experience where you were able to do that for somebody?
Well, yeah, I mean, just over the years, we've had some storms, so we'll reach out to our data, to the database, and reach out to folks and say, hey, when was the last time you were down? Have you secured everything? Would you like me to go and make sure that it's taken care of for you? So yeah, we've done that a number of times. And we had the derecho years ago. With Sandy, we did that. Unfortunately, the extent of Sandy was what it was, but even in the nor'easters. Each year we'll make sure that we'll go buy properties to make sure that they're buttoned up for them.
Awesome.
So with coastal living, I mean, there are so many ways to appreciate the coastal living and all that it has to offer and what you're looking for. I mean, I've talked a lot about just the ocean and the beach itself, and there's a lot of great walking paths that are off of the beach in this area here that are offered, and the bike paths. So there's so many things to appreciate while you're here, and really get in touch with nature. And I think really that's what people like to do when they come to the beach. They like to rest, they like to relax, they like to get away from it. And for others, there's a deeper connection when it comes to nature and the earth and what have you. And at the same time, there's a great appreciation for the power of the ocean. And it's amazing that when you see these storms, how many people go up to look because they just want to see the power of the ocean, and ultimately appreciate Mother Nature in all of its power.